got the northern lights. Baby, you just kick your feet up while I kick back. I roll one with you by my side.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Bold, Black, and Addicted to Bravo, because I am bold, Black, and addicted to Bravo. My name is Nyemade, or that African butterfly, as I'm known on social media. And today we are going to be discussing Salt Lake City, the long season of Salt Lake City, and also a little bit of the Housewives of Miami as well. So I'm so excited. I have Lauren and Jasper with me. Jasper, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Jasper, or as the social media one knows me as the King of Shade _1. And I'm a Bravo fan, Housewives fan, staying, and member of the Shop Squad. Yes.
He is the king of problematic faves. If there's a problem with them, Jasper loves them. Lauren?
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm bold, I'm Black, addicted to Bravo. My socials, I'm never really on them, but my Instagram's LJ4321. And yeah, let's shoot the shit. I'm excited.
Yes. All right. So let's get right into the season. I want to start with where the reunion ended with, which is the Jen of it all. Like, I don't know why they waited till the very end, but I want to jump in with the Jen. Okay. Especially with the arrest. Let's start with the arrest. How did you guys feel about that? Like, what was your reaction?
Well, I was shocked. Okay. Like the original arrest. And then I feel like the explanations that were happening were the ones that she was giving. I was just like, what is your lawyer telling you to say? Because these aren't the right answers. Right. Mm-hmm. I felt like it feels almost like she doesn't understand what she's being charged with, or she's playing like she doesn't understand. But it was shocking to see that. I didn't expect it. And I do think that heavy is the head that wears the crown. So like they're giving her that crown, like all the other people that were involved. And so am I concerned since they keep pleading out? Yes. But does she hopefully have a fighting case? Yeah. Because, one thing about this reunion is this season made me like Jen Shaw. Okay. Mm-hmm. Last season, it was too much. This season, I was like, there you are. So part of me, it's not, I don't want her to go to jail, but yeah. I don't know if she's guilty. I watched that documentary. I couldn't even understand it. So there's that.
Jasper, we know you have good things to say about Jen.
Yes, she is innocent, and she's gonna, prove her innocence. She's gonna beat this case. I'm glad that she was not arrested on camera. She was not handcuffed on camera, because that would have been mortifying, because she is the queen, and the queens don't get arrested on camera. They definitely don't get handcuffed on camera. I feel like, she, I feel like she does know. I feel like she is doing what she needs to do as far as playing with the intelligence of viewers and people who are interested and intrigued in her legal situation. So she's giving out answers that, well, maybe people think she doesn't know what's going on, but she's very aware and knows her situation.
Do you guys think that she is innocent as in this is all BS, nothing happened? Or do you think that she is innocent in the terms of negligence, that it was happening, but below her? And so she didn't really know that it was happening? Because that's kind of where I would believe that. Like, I feel like
I think negligence.
It happened, but I don't necessarily know that like she made it happen. You know what I mean? I feel like she probably hired people and they were getting the numbers, and all she knew was they were getting the numbers, and that's all she knew. And she was getting her money.
I believe she's innocent. I believe it's BS. I believe that this whole thing was done to try to frame her and make her be the scapegoat of somebody else or someone else's misdeeds. So,
but it would be someone else in her organization, though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So she just probably didn't know. Yes. They're just blaming it on her because she's the head, is what you think?
Yes, she's a star on reality television, so it's like easy to target her.
And the timing, but then it's like the investigation had been going on for a while. So it's like
12 years, and you wait till this woman get on reality television, and then because you want a screen time, they're captured and filmed for the world. Like, I didn't know the FBI would I didn't know the FBI like reality television this much. They want to be on reality television to get someone. I know home security wanted to be on television like this. I didn't know that. And it's really weird that you wait till she's on television filming a show. They want to get her on camera. Weird.
What do you think about her decision or their decision to take it to court and fight it? I actually think
it's a good thing. I think that people should use our judicial system. And
I agree.
Yes.
We want people to plead out and honestly fight the case. If you're innocent, fight your case.
Right. Which isn't always, like there are times where you're going to be, screwed no matter what. We all know that for certain reasons. But I do think like in this scenario, especially because in the reunion, Andy was saying like, they have like a 98% conviction rate. And they're like, yeah, because everyone pleads out. So of course your conviction rate is going to be high if everyone pleads out.
Right.
So I agree with her fighting it. If she thinks she's innocent,
if she can,
then fight it. Because you just need reasonable doubt to get off. No one has to say you're innocent. They just can't. They just all have to not agree that you're guilty. She just needs a Jasper. She just needs one Jasper in that jury.
If she goes to court, she gets the opinion of 12 people versus the people like Stu who took the plea deal. That sentence will be given by one judge who found him guilty. You know what I'm saying? So I think she should definitely, if she is innocent, fight that shit. I'm not going to plead guilty.
Honestly, even if she wasn't innocent, but I do think, especially if her innocence comes from a place of negligence, where it's like, listen, I didn't know what they were doing now. Because like if you work for a large corporation, the CEO has no clue what the day-to-day employees do. They have no idea, which is why like I do customer service for a bank. And it's always so funny to me when they're like, I want to talk to the CEO. I'm like, the CEO couldn't even tell you how to find your account in our systems. Like they're so far above it all. So I think because that's where she is in the company, it's very smart of her to argue it, because I think that I would not be surprised if they weren't able to get at least one or two jurors to be like, you know what, you're right. It's not her fault.
Right. Like, really? Are you sure? Where's the paper trail?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there are bigger fish to fry, to be honest, but I do also feel like if she did commit the fraud, like, this is what I'm saying. If Elizabeth Holmes with Theranos could get away with $900 billion of fraud, Jen Shaw, listen, I can, fight that case.
Yeah.
Because Elizabeth Holmes was charged with 11 charges. She got found guilty of 4. Fight that case.
Right.
Like, take it to court.
Take it to court. She'll probably get off.
Like, take it to court.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
she's a fighter. And I'm glad she's fighting. I'm glad she's sticking to her guns. She's not giving in, because it's easy to just give up and take a plea. If you feel like you know that you're innocent, you know that you didn't do anything wrong, you know that it's a bunch of BS, fight it to the end, and she's going to do that and win and prevail. So I'm excited and supporting my girl.
I also, okay, so are we on the reunion or are we doing the whole season? Because I love Jen and Meredith slowly but surely finding their place.
Yes. No, we're doing the whole season. So I was gonna fight with Jasper for a minute about something, but we'll get to it. We'll talk about it. We'll stay in peace for a moment and talk about Jen and Meredith. So I thought their whole thing was interesting, because it's like, I understand Meredith being upset. Like, someone said some horrible things about your child. But I feel like
there was more to it, right?
The level of her anger for someone liking some tweets and then her just not being able to let it go. I'm like, either something deeper happened that we didn't see, or like you're really exaggerating with this. Like, be mad at her for a little while and then move on. All she did was like a tweet. She didn't even tweet it to herself. She liked it. Like, come on now.
I think it was telling Whitney that they were seeing other people, that they were separated. I think Jen Shaw knew a lot of things, just like Meredith knew a lot of things. And I feel like maybe things were shared that weren't supposed to be shared. And I don't think it was shared on camera. And that's why I felt like it went deeper than that, because to see them communicate at the reunion and just have that, we get it. And I really think. Well,
yeah, now that everyone's mad at Lisa, of course they get it. They're cohesive.
Can I just say this? I've never been a Barlow fan. And it's because I think she is the most inauthentic person. I don't want to say ever, but let's say on the show, like, you're a fraud. And you care so much about how you're perceived that you're doing the most, and I can't. I
Yeah.
can't, especially this season.
I agree.
just can't.
Well, we'll get
Like
to
you're doing the
Lisa.
agree.
I disagree, but we'll
Wait,
get,
you disagree?
we'll get to Lisa.
Wow.
Jasper, what was your opinion about the Meredith and Jen?
I feel like Meredith, really, she has some unnecessary hate towards Jen and
I think she
anger.
projected some shit. of her
She
own shit.
did, because I feel like the whole situation with her son, I feel like her son, said some things that were atrocious about Jen, and she was thinking about, like, Jen has children as well. So her child was on television and tweeting things and confessional saying things about this woman, a grown adult. And so when Jen responds or engages with her son, it's like, so her son's supposed to be off the limits, but he got in the mix of an adult situation. You are the mother, so you should let you handle Jen. Him saying things about Jen and Jen responding, Meredith was said with Jen, but are you talking to Brooks? Are you having a conversation with him and saying, hey, you did some things that caused you and this woman who was my friend to have a moment. Yes, I don't like what she said or liking a tweet or whatever, but you also had a part in the whole exchange because you decided to go to war with a grown woman. At the end of the day, you're on the show. So kids do that. You see kids get into the mix of adult situations, and then when the adult comes for the child, they're a child now. No, they're not a child anymore. Now they're grown. At this point, you stepped in. And I personally feel like Brooks wants to be a Real Housewife of Salt Lake City. I personally feel like he wants to have his mother spy and hold a snowflake. And I get it, because I want to be a housewife, so I get it. I would love to be on a show like that, so I get it. And he has more personality than Meredith anyway, so he would be a better choice.
I do hate that. Like, I agree with the whole, the kids are off limits. I totally agree with that. However, once the kid is doing confessionals, they are no longer off limits to me. Like, to me, they are now a cast member of the show. Right. Yeah. Once you let your kid do confessionals, and I'm not talking about like the little kids who do them because they're still young, but once your kid is like a teenager and above and they're talking grown folks stuff, then we're going to grown folks talk back to them. So I don't want to hear like, oh, they're a kid. Like, no.
Not anymore.
So one last thing on Jen, and this is what I said. Jasper's probably going to fight with me on this, but I stand very firmly in this, which is that I hate when Jen pulls out the race card to victimize herself when she gets called out on things. It is very frustrating to me because, yes, there are definitely times of like prejudice and race issues, and I'm always speaking up for and about them. But like, Jen will pull it out when someone is calling for her accountability on something she's done. And that makes me so mad. So like if she freaks out and yells and flips out on someone, and then someone will call her out on it, and she's like, it's just so hard as a brown and Black person that people think we're aggressive. It's like, bitch, you were screaming at someone. You were being that. And now you're saying that. It's not like when Ebony is calmly having a conversation with a New York, like Ebony would calmly have a conversation with them and they'd be like, you're being aggressive. Okay, that if you want to say like they call brown people or Black people aggressive for no reason, I get it. But when you, Jen, were just screaming at somebody and then somebody says that, you don't get to say it's just because I'm brown. Or like when there is a trail of fraud with your company, you don't get to say they just want to know where our money came from because we're brown and Black. Like there was fraud, even if it wasn't you directly, it was there. It has nothing to do with your race. And it just makes me mad that she dodges accountability with her race.
I don't agree because I feel like Jen
I know you don't.
brought a very valid point because her and her husband are, a brown couple on a show that's predominantly white. And so, the over targeting of them and questioning their finances that the brown people can't have money and be successful. I got where she was coming from because it is very odd that they want to keep pushing this issue and narrative on them. And because Jen is successful, her husband's successful, and they have money and Jen's able to buy things, they find it strange. Like, how do you find it strange?
It's not that they have money. It's that based on the company, because they were saying like in her audition thing, right? She says she spends $50,000 a month. That's fine. If you have that money, that's fine to spend it. But when you can't articulate what your business does, and when people in the same line of business know how much money you should be making and know that being able to spend $50,000 a month is not in the ballpark of what you should be making based on what you say your business does, then people are like, well, then you have to be doing either fraud, which apparently it might have been, or you must be doing some other business as well to bring in more finances, which is
And
fine.
she has other businesses.
But be honest
What
about
are
it.
businesses?
She has other businesses.
Okay, everyone says that, but she
she
still has yet to say what they are. She'll just be like, I
But
have
I mean,
other
she doesn't
businesses.
owe, but she doesn't owe the world her business. Like she's older, she's obligated to tell the world everything she does. All the other housewives don't tell the world every single thing that they do. They don't break down. This is what I do. This, and they don't. So she's not obligated to do that.
No, but everyone else tells what they do, right? And then
they don't break down every facet of what they do.
But when you look at their life is in reason of what they say they do, right? So like if what's her name, Heather, owns this beauty thing and it brings in all this money and she's living in this nice house and living this, like, it makes sense. Well, plus she has, I think, alimony money or whatever money, child support, but like their stuff lines up with what they say they do versus Jen, who doesn't. And it wouldn't be a problem if Jen didn't make a point of saying she spends a ton of money. If Jen was just like, this is my life, I live a good life and I'm happy, but Jen makes it like her brand that she's so fabulous, that she spends so much money, that she has extra. But so when you make that your brand, people are going to say like, okay, well then how are you getting it? That's
jealousy. It's jealousy.
It's
and
not
hate.
jealousy. It's just want to know.
It is. It's not pick apart someone's life. But it's curiosity mixed in jealousy and hate to pick apart somebody's life because you don't like the fact that they are spending this kind of money. You want to like, how can they spend all this money frivolously because you can't do it? It's a little bit of jealousy and hate. But
it wouldn't be jealousy and hate if there was a legitimate answer behind it. For example, Candy has all these businesses. We don't know exactly what she does, but we know that she has like the beauty line and she has the sex toys line and she has her show, and she has her music, she has all these things. So when Candy spends, and Candy doesn't even brag about her spending of money, but if Candy were to start bragging like this is I blah blah blah, we'd all be like, yeah, the girl has a ton of businesses. But when we go to Jen and it's like, okay, you're spending a ton of money, where's it coming from? And you can barely explain to people what your main job is, and then your other explanation is I have other businesses, but you don't want to say what they are, it just seems shady. And that's not coming from a place of hate. That's just like, it seems shady.
It's because she don't want to break down every facet of her businesses to the world.
We don't need every facet of it, but like I said, I just listed you like 4 or 5 businesses Candy does. I don't know what they all do. She probably has more businesses than that, but she can say like, when she says I have other businesses,
even if she said
I have blah, 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 blah. Jen can never say I have other businesses and go blah, blah, blah. She's just other businesses. That sounds shady. It sounds shady. That's all we're saying is it sounds shady. So it's annoying when she then turns around after sounding shady and says like, you're just picking on me because I'm brown. Like, no, if you were blonde hair and blue eyed and we're still being shady, we'd still be like, this is shady. Look at what they did with Erica. Like, we're still going to call you out on your shadiness if it's shady.
It's not shady because she's telling you, she's giving you answers, but she's giving you answers and y'all don't like
maybe just not the answer we want.
That's the issue. She's giving you answers. You someone who you don't like the answer that you're receiving, but that's not her problem.
You're right.
It's not her problem.
I will definitely give you that point. She's not giving us the answers we want because we want more details because
y'all nosy.
Well, she made us nosy, okay? So it's not like we just were like, hey, tell us your, like you came and you're like, I spend this much money.
That's it, but she said I spend this much money, but y'all nosy. Y'all want to know, what? So break it down every facet of each business that you have.
Isn't that why she's like, why are you telling people if you don't want people to know?
James glam team, like Shaw had a Shaw squad, right?
And
he shared that with me, right? I don't know if they're 1099 or W-2. That's a lot of money, right? So you may not have to tell me everything, but all I would like to know is if you could just explain it in a way that's like, don't worry about it, sweetheart. I got it.
Yeah.
You know what
she did
saying?
about give you the answer she gave. She gave you the answer she gave was that.
Yeah.
The thing is, at the end of the day, the investigation didn't start just because she was Black. People aren't curious just because of it, because it started way before the show
when she was in New York.
Yeah, it started in New York. So it's an investigation of her business. So what's naturally going to happen with the audience is that here's this person who's very lavishly spending and open about it. Here is this person who's not only open about her spending, but quiet about how she's making the money. She's very general. She's very whatever, which we might have been able to let go. But when that person then gets indicted, we're like, aha. So that's why you don't want to tell us details, because you're doing shady shit. That's just how it comes together.
Assumptions. And that's the problem with America. You make assumptions, and you put things together that are not true.
I guess we'll find out when the court comes out if it's true or not.
Yes.
I'm just saying that I think that the curiosity, right or wrong, because you are right, it's because we want more and she's not giving us more. I agree with you on that. But I will say, like, right or wrong, I think the curiosity into the situation is natural and normal. And I think that her saying, oh, you guys just want to know because I'm brown, I think that that's pulling up the rich card in a situation where it's not warranted.
You could also semi-explain it in a way that's like, none of your business.
Yeah.
You don't even give that as a reason why they want to know. Just it's taken care of.
Yeah.
So I would be like, why are you coming for me when Whitney's makeup line is an MLM? Why are you still coming for me? That's I understand where she's like, well, that looks like fraud, like that right there. And this is layman's eyes.
Right.
So I get why she's like, why are you coming for me? But also at the same time, she definitely gave us the Shaw Squad, the Shaw Chalet. And it was like, for these charges to come up, you do kind of question, okay, well, where did the money come from? Right? Yeah. Like, I never questioned where it came from until she got arrested.
Right. Like, until she got arrested, I was just like, she just makes good money. Like, would I like to know more? Sure. But before that, it was just like, she just makes good money doing what she does. It wasn't until she got arrested that we're like, wait, so exactly how do you make the money? And then when she got real shady about the explanation, it's like, okay.
Well, as I say,
and then for the other women to be like, well, I always knew something was sketch. They really didn't help either.
Yeah, that didn't help.
I also think that part is the part that they were able to say that with such confidence because she was a woman of color.
Yeah, that part. Yeah. See, if she had pointed, that part I agree with.
But as the saying goes, curiosity killed the cat. So,
Well, then don't be on reality TV show, because we're all gonna
no, because you could be on reality television, but it doesn't give you right to be all in my business. Because I'm on reality television. I'm gonna give you television. No, it's not. Because I'm gonna give you what you want. People on reality shows give what they want to give. They give enough information out. They're not gonna give you their whole business. They're gonna tell you all their secrets. That's just unrealistic.
I think that in 2022, that people should know by now, if you get on a reality television show, people are going to be all in your business, especially because of social media.
But you don't have to share it. But you don't have to share your business.
You don't have to share it, but just know that it's going to happen.
She's a privately owned company, right? Like, she doesn't have to share those numbers with us. Like, she just does not have to. It's not like she's publicly traded. Right. So I feel like she's given us what she's given us. If she, as a private business owner, you don't get to know my numbers. It's private.
Yeah. Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. I agree with Jasper. Like, she's not giving us what we want. And I get that. And she doesn't have to. Like you said, she's private. Like you said, like, it's her business. She doesn't have to. My only issue is with, I just hate when people like put themselves in a public space. You know what people are going to ask. You know what people are going to want from you. And it's your right to not give it to them. It's your right to say, like, that's my business. But what I don't like is when they're like, I'm so upset that you want to know my business and blah, blah, blah. Like, of course they do. That is what they do. That is literally the space you put yourself into. So it's fine if you don't want to share, but don't act like you're all offended or shocked or people are attacking you when they want to know about you what they would want to know about anybody else.
But you can't be offended and shocked. If you're not, you can, but she has the right to be offended and shocked. That's her right to feel offended if she feels like it's going too far or it's crossing a boundary or y'all doing too much.
Like, when she called out Whitney saying, you said my husband was a sugar daddy, she damn right should have called her out on that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely should have.
Absolutely.
Like that.
Are you agreeing, Nyemade?
No, I agree that she should have called her out. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, but she didn't, Whitney didn't say that about Lisa's husband. Like, no one can buy that damn tequila. Like, Whitney didn't say that about Whitney's husband, which obviously, how many bankruptcies has he had? But she was really comfortable saying that about her.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that Jenna's really always wrong. Right. I'm not saying that she doesn't get like certain things that are racially related. Absolutely, she does. And I'll back her up on those. I just hate when there are times where it feels like she says it when she's being held accountable for something that she doesn't want to be held accountable for. And that's when it frustrates me, because then it makes it harder to defend her in the times where it actually is racially related. But because she's called wolf these other times, it makes it harder to defend her. Yes.
Oh, snap. Oh, he's just pointing to the Shaw Squad.
Oh, okay. All right. So moving on from the Jen of it all, I have to say that I was appalled by the way the women treated Meredith after the death of her father. Like,
disgusted.
Appalled by how they
It
treated
was-
her. Her father just died, and they were going
offensive.
after her and screaming at her. And I get that Whitney was drunk, but like that whole thing was actually kind of disgusting to watch.
It was cringe. It was cringe.
It's very insensitive.
Completely.
And I'm a sensitive person. Like, I really get it. I feel like I'm a person that like tries to keep it 100, but I'm sensitive. Like, I just would feel that. But to be literally, first of all, she's Jewish, right? There are certain ceremonies you do for a funeral. If she can't bury her dad, like, that's stressful. She's fighting with her sister. How are y'all really still coming after her about a date, about her father's passing? This isn't, she didn't make it to the party last night because she was at someone else's party. This is like the death of a parent and y'all are coming like this? Oh,
Like, even like, and I'm a Lisa apologist, but like, even that, I was just like, even Lisa being like, you don't stand up for me. I'm like, this is not the time. Like, maybe it's because like I've never lost a parent that close to me and I'm scared to death of it. I feel like my world's probably going to fall apart. So whenever I hear someone else losing a parent, I'm like, to me, it's like kid gloves for that person.
I have.
To lose
It's
their parent.
unbelievable.
Like,
don't know the waves of grief that you're going to go in, and for her to still call that out and talk about the date and harass her that weekend and the hot mic, I'd be fucking done.
Yeah. I wonder if I don't think they're going to be able to come back from
Oh no, Meredith made it clear, like it's hard. Like
that visceral. Listen, Lisa said it with her full chest.
Well, we all say things that would like. I don't talk to people when I'm angry because I am vicious in my mind. Like, as nice of a person as I am, like when I get like that angry, like, ooh, it's not pretty. So I keep quiet until I calm down and then we talk. So I can sort of.
But it wasn't a calm down and talk. She talked shit with that mic on, and she meant every word.
She did.
Every syllable, every vowel she used, she meant it with all the hate within her body.
But don't you ever mean something when you're angry? No. Now, listen, I will agree with Meredith in this situation. Like, as much as I can say, like, I think Lisa was saying it because she was angry. Not that she didn't mean it, but if she wasn't angry, I don't think she would say that. But I do also agree with Meredith that I wouldn't want anything to do with her after that. Like, because how do you have a friend who you know thinks that about you? Like,
it would say that.
Friends. Thinks about you.
Yeah, we couldn't be friends.
Would say that.
I was upset because you said that my house was Really?
And so now I'm a whore and I slept with all New York. How's that level out?
Right. I can't afford a home. My kids, all they do is fucking pose. And it's because you said you didn't like my flip job at my house.
Well, I think she was also upset at the table because she felt like she wasn't having her back. And the thing that gets me of it all, though, is that like I get Lisa's frustration in the sense of she's been having to deal with Jen coming at her for not being a good friend to Meredith, or for not being a good friend to her, and then Meredith's coming at her for not being a good friend to her.
Camera time from season 1. I don't really think she cared about Jen Shaw like that.
No, but then she's been trying to stick up for Jen in this season, and then so Meredith feels betrayed. Jen's not happy because Jen feels like you're not being a true friend to them. And this is why I, at my age, have learned, like, you have to pick a side in certain situations. There's no way to not pick a side that will not make you end up looking like the asshole of it. And that's exactly what happened in this. Neither side is happy with her because they both felt betrayed by her, which understandably, you're going to feel that way. But you have to pick a side. And because they were both then saying that they were upset with her, she kind of snapped. She had had enough.
You are a Lisa apologist.
Yes,
listen, I can call out.
You are a Lisa apologist.
No, I am. And I can, but the thing with me is I can still admit when she does wrong. I'm not an apologist in the sense of, oh, she did right. I'll say, no, that was wrong. I'll just follow it up with, but I understand. Like, that's where my apologist comes in, is like, yeah, that was wrong.
You understand.
But I get why. I'm not saying it was right. I'm not excusing it. I still think Meredith should want nothing to do with her, because I would want nothing to do with a friend who said that. But I just still say that I get how she got to that point.
I just don't get how you got to the point where, I mean, the shit she's saying. And then to try to justify it, like, oh yeah, well, I say like laughing, like, oh, you must have slept with that guy. Sis, you're really trying. You're really
That's
trying.
the thing is she's very manipulative.
She's a pick me. She's very pick me.
She's very manipulative, but she's not like great at it. So it's very obvious when she's trying to manipulate a situation. And she needs to hang out with Vanderpump more, because then she would learn how to be more manipulative better. But yeah, that is the thing. She is very like, she tries to control the narrative of how she's seen.
Always.
And that's why throughout the season, there were so many times where it's like, oh, we all had a talk. And then Lisa came to me late at night with no cameras to then talk to me. It's like,
and she's like, hey guys, oh my God, you guys, this is what so-and-so said, you guys. So I don't even get the fan really this season. Did she give me looks that like, she didn't even give me looks. She didn't even give me looks that were memorable, but actually all of Salt Lake City, tragic on the fashion. So I guess
it was hard to be a Lisa fan this season. I still am, but it was hard.
I mean, Lisa's disgusting, and then she wants to blame production. Like, you said what you said.
Even
they
the
didn't make you say what you said about
you
Mary.
tried to bring up that Mary shit and then wash your hands of it. Lisa, that was you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Lisa brought, but that's Lisa. Lisa brought, a lot is on herself because she said things and didn't think that it was going to come back to bite her. You can't say what you say on the show and then act like you didn't say it. You said it.
That is the one thing. I do wish she would own what she said a little bit more. Like sometimes I just want her to be like, yeah.
I said what I said in my name voice. Say it. You said what you said.
Cameron did not give Mary this money. We were off camera. And then she's like, no, but stop doing that on camera shit. Like you're trying to produce. You're not a Kyle.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The thing is, I feel like they're just trying to villainize her so much.
Oh, wow.
That she should just lean into it. Like, just let her, like, just be the villain.
Just be the villain.
Just say, yep, I said that. Yep, I did that. And what?
But that's the problem. She can't be a villain. She can't do
right.
Because villains usually own that stuff.
Right.
She does, but it's not working because
people love villains. Like if she was leaning into being the villain, it's not like suddenly people would be like, "Oh, I don't like her." If anything, she probably gets some new fans.
But she's not good at that though. She's not good at being a villain because villains usually own what they say.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If she would own it and just be a villain, she would probably get more respect from people, and more people would like her.
But she can't because she wants to self-produce and wants to be the look at it as
she still wants to be seen as the nice girl.
Even she said it at the reunion. I invited Whitney so she could see how I am as a mom, and she would think that I would be, girl, you only care about perception of you, which makes me think, who's the real you?
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's probably some
the hot mic.
That's the real her. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's the real her up against the wall. Like, I feel like that's the real her when she's really angry. I don't know that I necessarily say that that's her all the time.
That's her character. She has none. That's her character.
Anyways.
Yeah, this is character, honey. Ice cold.
Like I said, I can't defend that she said anything right because she didn't. But I do think that she should just lean into it. Just own it more and let them. They obviously see her as the villain, so just be the villain, girl. Like, you're not going to be the nice girl of it, especially not with Heather, which is the next person I want to talk about. First of all, did Heather have a storyline this season except for being up everyone's butt? And second of all she did the reunion was attack Lisa. Like,
I was here for it all. I was here for it.
For everything. No matter what the conversation topic was about, Heather would bring it back to attacking Lisa. And I like Heather.
I live for it.
I like the way she rationalizes things sometimes. I'm not like anti-Heather, but like she was a little much at that reunion.
Every reunion, apparently, because she knew that her season that she gave was trash. No storyline, trash. Mm-hmm. So
I think she also knew that like
big energy at the reunion, but I'm like, again, misdirected. And again, you're still not owning what you're saying. And again, bad weather, you're not bad weather, you're smog. That's all you gave me.
I like Lisa. I mean, Heather attacking Lisa because Lisa deserved it. I mean, she was calling Lisa out and everything. So
well, and I think that Heather knew that
her on her own shit, not someone else.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
like that.
Attacking her for her own stuff, sure, attack her all day, but then let the other people handle their own stuff. And then also maybe keep that same energy for your friend who called you Shrek, like, or like people like Mary called her inbred. So like whatever Mary said about Lisa must be true, but what she said about you isn't true. Like maybe she's like, you know what I mean? Like keep the same energy across the board is all I'm saying with Heather.
Heather, it was entertaining. Heather gave Lisa everything that I needed her to give. Lisa needed to get what she got. Lisa deserved everything that came from her that was young, and I'm sorry, Lisa. She just deserved it, and I enjoyed it. Heather may have been doing too much, but hey, she needed to keep her job, so she did what she needed to do to keep that snowflake. And
she did.
And get Lisa together, and I'm here for it.
She definitely did her job.
Like her line, not the Teen Vogue magazine had to be a cool mean girl. I did like that moment.
I liked it.
I did too. That was cute.
I'm sure she practiced it, but I liked it. Good delivery.
I know she
if she practiced it, she executed it well, honey.
That's Lisa what I said. I said good delivery.
Lisa could never. Lisa could never.
No, all Lisa could do is, you're the liar.
Exactly.
So I have a question. So I have a question. Knowing what we know about Jenny now, does it change how you took in her interactions with Mary over the season? Because I will admit,
definitely.
I will admit when they first interacted and they had that big fight, Jenny was out of line, but she also was like, it's the anniversary of my daughter's death and blah, blah, blah. And so I was just at my limit. So I'm like, okay, all right, there's that. But then later, like she has such visceral for Mary that I was always like, damn. But now knowing what I know, I'm like, maybe that's why you didn't like being told what to do by her for that reason.
So I looked at my tweets from the beginning of the season and I was like, Jenny's off. Something's off about her. I don't like her energy. Jenny blocked me before those things came out about her because I said, I know you know what the fuck a black sin is. And when she blocked me, I knew for sure, bitch, you're racist. Like, period. Like, period. And she irked me that whole time because you don't have that same energy for anyone else. You let Jen Shaw get up and yell in your face and you're barely yelling back. Like, come on.
Yeah. That's why
she definitely targeted Mary. Mary definitely was a target, and then learning that
a target.
She was saying things about Mary's hair, and
she was for Whitney too.
But learning that she was saying things about Mary's hair and different things about her off camera that we didn't get to see on camera, and the production decided to edit that stuff out, made me further feel like, okay, Mary was a target, and she definitely don't like black people, and she wanted to make Mary feel as uncomfortable as she could, and she did a good job at it. Definitely.
Yeah. Because it was like, I think it was when they were staying somewhere and they were having like an argument about something, like the way she just snapped at like Mary. Yeah. And it was just like, it wasn't warranted for it to be that major. I feel like she really has a problem with Mary being anyone that reprimands her, doesn't do, like she clearly feels like she should be superior to her. And anytime Mary acted like she wasn't, it was an issue.
Right. Oh yeah, she couldn't take Mary being just like ignoring her, coming into the scene. I want to talk with her. I want to be her friend. If she don't want to be your friend, she don't want to be your friend. You can't make somebody like you. Like this, that doesn't work that way. It was weird that the girls were trying to make Mary and her be friends. Mary told y'all she did not want to be friends with this woman. She had a valid reason why, and y'all still want to make them be friends. No.
Right.
Yep. Right. And I feel like even with Jenny, like her whole storyline with the sister wife, that was the only sister storyline she had.
That was fake.
And it wasn't even believable.
The TikTok and called it what it was at the very beginning.
Nobody believed the sister line, the sister storyline, like the sister wife storyline. So it's just like, oh.
Well, Jenny makes me side out Lisa more because it's Lisa's friend, so I look at Lisa a little funny.
Who still was like, people make mistakes. Maybe
give her a second chance. Come on now. Yeah.
You didn't say to give her a second chance on the show.
Yeah, she did.
I read the whole quote. No, there's a headline.
What she was saying. But that was what she was saying. That's what she was saying. Give her a second chance. That's what she was saying. If you look at it, she really was saying.
No, I read it.
Give her a second chance back on the show. But that's her friend, and she knew her friend was a racist when she was on the show.
No, I don't think. Okay, so and this isn't me being an apologist. This is me giving this is me giving just real talk. Before the Trump era, I had no clue how many of my friends, just being people that I grew up with, felt a certain type of way about certain things. Like, especially because like we grew up to, like, first of all, it's topics that wouldn't have ever come up. before like the Trump era, before the riots. It's just stuff that didn't necessarily come up. And while I knew some of them were conservative, because I grew up in upstate New York, so while I knew some of them were conservative, I was still shocked at some of the things that I saw liked, at some of the things that I saw retweeted. I unfollowed so many friends, but that's because I happened to see it. Like if someone, and I'm sure I didn't see all of it. So if someone came to me later and was like, this is what your friend posted on Facebook, I can't be held responsible for what they post. And I can't say that unless they are being blatantly racist to me, that I would have known that that's what their thing is. Like, I think that there's only so much accountability you can put on anyone about the actions of their friends,
of someone else.
Yeah.
But those posts that Jenny posted was post-Trump era. So she's seen those posts on Facebook about her supporting Trump.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see everything my friends.
So, and Lisa is not dumb. Lisa's very smart. Lisa knows what racism looks like, and she knows what racist posts are. So Lisa was very aware of her friend making these racist remarks, and she brought her on the show, and she supports her. And she continues to support her, and she's advocating for this one for us to give her a second chance after finding the trash that she posted. You can't advocate for someone that's disgusting like that.
Yeah,
so especially after the girl who posted it then said it was a social media manager.
Right.
Exactly.
I will say that because I do think that there is a level of being able to accept someone's growth and change, and like people make mistakes and you can give them second chances. However, that comes when they accept and acknowledge and take accountability for what they did, which Jenny has not done. Jenny has not earned a second chance yet, because Jenny is still making BS excuses for why what happened, which tells me
and also
you don't really regret it, that you haven't learned from it, and that you're not changing. And if you're not doing any of those things, you don't get a second chance. Once you do those things, you get a second chance. Until then, you don't.
It was her having her black friend come on and do a live with her just to, for me, I was like, you know what? Oh, okay.
I'm like, all right, okay, this is some BS. Yeah.
Now it's your social media manager, but you admit to Tiffany Moon that it was in fact your likes and your posts.
Yeah, come on now. It's Lisa's friend, though.
So that's what I'm saying. And see, this is what I say when I say that I am a rational Lisa apologist, because I can stand up for the fact that she may not have seen what her friend liked or posted, because I don't see everything my friends like, and I may not necessarily know
she
that.
had just tagged her in a post, right?
Come on now.
But I can also say that I completely disagree with Lisa about giving her a second chance, because she hasn't earned a second chance yet.
Okay.
Like on that point, I'm not with Lisa on it, because she has not. Yes, I agree. People deserve a second chance when they earn it, and she hasn't earned it. She hasn't owned anything, and she hasn't really given a genuine apology. She gave us some BS.
Well, Lisa's a racist, of course, a racist.
Yeah, so if that was my friend, we still wouldn't be talking. Because
Lisa's a racist. Lisa Barlow is a racist, and she supports racists. So.
Oh my God, yes, we can say that.
Yeah.
And she's not, Lisa.
She's a racist.
She's not. She's so nice.
She's a racist.
Oh my God.
At this point,
please stop saying that. I don't want to have to try to find this to edit that out.
She for her to say that she deserves a second chance validates my feelings, because I would never come out and say to the world that my friend who we know is a racist deserves a second chance. We should forgive her. She makes mistakes. No,
Jasper,
she's done.
Let's we not forget that you are a Ramona apologist. So, like, should we say that you are racist because you love Ramona? And you know,
I don't know. Ramona is a racist because I've never. It's not a risk because I never came out and said anything wrong with you that was racist ever. I never said it was right. Ever said it was right. Ever validated.
Yeah, because you won't acknowledge it.
Never.
Yeah, you don't say it.
I always acknowledge her racist. What she's done on the show is racist stuff. So
yeah, because at least they acknowledge it. Ramona has done racist stuff.
Lisa is not acknowledging. Lisa's only vindicating and advocating for a racist. And Lisa is a racist. Period.
I
never advocated, vindicated,
like
supported Ramona's racism.
Their kids grew up together. They were pregnant around the same time. But she can't excuse that behavior.
I agree.
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think she can
that's what she's doing.
With a little out of pocket with what she said. She tried again because perception is everything. Yeah. She didn't want people to think, oh my gosh, I've just dismissed Jenny, even though we know that she is racist, right? She didn't want to do that. But she it was like she was playing both fields.
I was just about to say
agree.
that's Lisa's biggest problem is she continues to try to play both fields, which I get because you don't want to make people mad, but you can't do it. At some point, you really have to get to the point where you have to say, this is the side I pick, and people are going to be mad at me, because if you don't do that, everybody's mad at you. Both sides are mad at you. Instead of you having the solid backing of one side and having the other side hate you, when you play the fence, you just get everybody hating you.
Right.
Well, she's a racist.
So,
You can't. Anyways,
Lisa Barlow is a racist.
You can't say that, because I feel like just because
I can. Her actions, everything, her actions.
Like her trying to defend a friend. Like, I don't agree with what she's saying, trying to say that Jenny deserves a second chance or anything like that. But I don't know that makes her racist.
Yes, even her post after it came out, her post, she posted something about Martin Luther King, a quote that didn't make any sense. And then she posted something like a couple of days later, a post that was still very generic and still was not.
I mean, I'm not saying she's in the right in this one. I'm just saying that I don't think that she
my reason why I say
doing or saying anything racist. I'm not saying she's in the right. I'm not saying she's in the right. I'm just saying I don't.
Okay,
think
then if we're on that energy, then what do we think of Whitney?
Great. Thank you for transitioning, because I was trying to move on.
Transitioning from the racist, Lisa Barlow, yes.
Whitney is, I'll tell you what I think about Whitney. I think that Whitney is a troublemaker. I think that Whitney is obsessed with not liking Lisa, which is fine. But like,
that Lisa doesn't like her.
Or that Lisa doesn't like her, even though Lisa will say like, I like you, it's fine. She's so obsessed with the idea that Lisa doesn't like her that she like wants to be Lisa's friend, but she also wants to like catch dirt on Lisa. So she is another one. Pick a side. Either you hate Lisa and you're gonna keep going for her, fine, or you're friends with Lisa. But you can't like this back and forth of now we're friends, but now
like
I'm gonna
I was on
her out
Angie's
on stuff.
boat,
Like,
that energy, but y'all are trying to hug at the place in Vale. What are we doing?
just pick a side. Jasper, what are your thoughts? I'm sure you love Whitney.
I love Whitney. I love her being a messy troublemaker, imposter. She's doing it. She does it.
I don't like.
She owns it though. She acknowledges that she's.
I really don't like how she treated Mary though. I think she was
right.
No, I didn't like it. No, I did not like that. I didn't agree with that.
Yeah, I do like Whitney, and I've always liked Whitney. But
blah blah blah.
Yeah,
because I didn't like that.
Yeah,
that was. No, I didn't agree with that.
I agree, because even when Whitney comes after Lisa, because I like Whitney, I can still take it with a grain of salt and be like, sometimes I agree with Whitney. Sometimes I'm like, I agree with Lisa. But when it came to the Meredith stuff, I was like, Whitney, like that was so
You're
wrong.
now chasing this woman up the stairs about a date. Sis.
Yeah, that was too much. I do agree. That was too much. And then the calling Mary a predator was like too far.
And then when we talk about Whitney and Mary,
apologize for calling you a predator at the last final party. Whitney, stop.
Yeah.
Like, and also you calling Cameron. I understand doing the digging,
right.
But now you're still bringing things that are unfounded, right? Like you cannot prove that was true, and yet you said it on camera, and you said it again at the reunion, out of fucking pocket. Excuse me.
No, I agree.
I didn't like that.
And when we talk about Whitney and Mary, like, that whole thing about the FaceTime
girl
and the texting and the little girl, like that whole, I was like, what am I watching?
Wait, can we give Mary her flowers for everything this season? God, she gave us the one-liners.
Mary is such an anomaly to me because
the looks, which she goes, women. I said yes. Yes. And
Whitney, Mary is definitely one of those, like, she's a villain, and that's okay.
And she's okay with it.
Right. And the thing with like, she owns it. And so like, even when I don't agree, I'm like, well, she owns it. And that's that. So deal with it.
You know what I loved? That Mary would just pay them dust and they could not handle it. Whitney would like combust every time that Mary was like, no, girl, I don't want to mess with you. Not today.
Well, Mary wasn't always wrong, but I do think that whole situation with like, it's just so weird to me. Like, someone didn't answer your FaceTime, so you went out of your way to give them an invitation to tell them to dress completely different than everyone else that you're like that's so like, you want to talk about like childish, like it would, I wouldn't even fathom thinking to do something like that. Like, that is like, to me, some real high school bullshit.
Right. And I'm like, if that's your level of like
Pettiness.
This is how you're getting back. You're so cute. You really are a pastor because you did. You said, come with a costume.
Right.
Gotcha. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I mean, it's great television, but I would not want that in my life. Like,
but every time she would be like, she would just do the looks up and downs. I would be like, I love you, Mary. I really do.
I love when she had the conversation with Jenny, and Jenny was like talking about her family. And she's like, what about you? She's like, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you anything about my family. And she's like, I thought we were trying to be friends. She's like, no, because it's like, that's her right. She doesn't have to tell you anything. And why should she want to? Why should she want to?
You have come at her in a crazy tone since the jump. Why would she tell you anything?
Mm-hmm.
And what's even crazier is to see that Whitney and Mary had such a close relationship last season. And then this season, I feel like that little rub up.
But that's the thing is like they have such a close relationship, but then she's furious at her for not answering her FaceTime. And that's what caused the destruction of your friendship. Blows my mind. But apparently Mary's known for sending vicious text messages to her friends because they all said at the reunion that they've all gotten one from her. It's not really first lady behavior to me, but okay.
I didn't like that.
I mean, that text she sent to Whitney, golly.
Well, they deserve those vicious text messages they got from her. So hey, they did all deserve it, and I'm pretty sure they weren't as bad as they be think. I'm pretty sure it wasn't as like.
I just remember.
Okay, so here's my question.
Like, whoo.
Here's my question. So those text messages she sent to them about them were vicious, right?
Yeah.
Were they more vicious than what Lisa said? Or I mean, was what Lisa said more vicious than what Mary said in her text messages? Or does it just seem more vicious because A, we heard Lisa say it, and B, we think their friendship is closer? Because Mary's text messages were vicious as well.
Lisa's was worse. Lisa's was worse.
Okay.
I feel like if Mary sent a harsh text message, like they know it's coming, right? I think with the Whitney thing, I didn't even know that was coming. Like that's how she really felt. I mean, at least Mary's like, this is how I feel about you, right? Mm-hmm. But Lisa was all like, I'm your friend. I just want you guys to be together. I'm at you, right?
Yeah.
And so
okay, I see what you're saying. Like they were in the middle of a fight. Well, I mean, they were too though when she stormed off the table. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like, and so I think that you can say, in Dorinda's words, say it, forget it, write it, regret it. Mm-hmm. Is that it? And I feel like so they can like harp on these text messages. What Lisa didn't expect, or maybe she just didn't realize, was that mic, right? I just really don't think she thought that people were going to hear that.
See, part of me thinks that. But then when she opened the door and said, take your mic back, I was like,
she knew the mic was on her. She knew the mic was on her. She was aware the mic was still attached to her.
I'm saying either that or because there's definitely a producer in the room while she was talking. That's who she was talking to. So I wonder if he pointed at the mic and then she was like, shit, and take the mic. But I don't know.
But how can you forget my text on you? Like it's literally on your back. So she knew the mic was on her. She wanted to be saying.
I think she was seeing red. I don't know if you've ever seen red and you could see her.
But I'm aware it was on my body. I'm aware it was on me. So that's no excuse. She said what she said because she wanted the world to hear her talk bad about her friend.
Yeah. But see, and the only reason why I kind of wonder if the mic was on her is because she does work so hard to be seen as so nice. And she does work so hard to play both sides that I feel like she wouldn't have said that if she had known the mic was on her. The way how she goes into their rooms at night to talk about stuff, to like fix the situation, I feel like if she had remembered that the mic was on, I don't think she would have said all of that, because it goes against everything she's been working so hard for all season, which is to be seen as a good friend to everybody, you know?
True.
That's the only reason why I think like maybe she didn't know. But one last thing about Lisa in Salt Lake City, and then I want to just talk about Miami for a few minutes, but reeling back, because we've been kind of backtracking through the episode, even though I'm sure I already know what you guys are going to say, or at least Jasper, do we think that Lisa sabotaged Angie's event with the caterer?
Yes.
Yes.
I
do.
Lisa is a witch.
I knew you were going to say yes.
And I say yes because she may have not said specifically, I don't want you to do this event. You can't do this event. but I'm sure she would be like, I'm actually having an event filmed. Like, I would rather you guys do my event than her. She's not even full time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I could see that.
You know
like
what I mean?
Where she has like plausible deniability. Like she didn't actually tell them not to.
She didn't
do
actually say it, but
she
I'm pretty
mentioned.
sure she suggested it. That's why she was so upset with Angie being friends with Whitney and Heather.
Yeah.
And literally, they weren't in a great place when the season started, when they started filming. So yeah, part of me thinks maybe she didn't say exactly, don't do that party, but I'm sure she was like, I'm actually I want you guys to do my party for Vita Tequila, and it's going to be filmed, and you guys should do that.
But I do also think that it was very obvious that Angie was trying to get on the show, because if you have a friend of that many years and then you run and tell the person that you know that your friends isn't friends with all the bad things your friend said about, like, that's shady. And I don't care anyone who says that they're like a good person. We all talk shit. At the end of the day, we all talk shit, which is actually how I'm going to transition to Miami in a second. But at the end of the day, we all talk shit to our friends, whether it's because we're upset or whatever, because you just have that friend that you just, this is how I feel, even if you would never say it out loud to anyone else. So for that friend to then turn around and be like, this is what Lisa said about you, it's so messed up.
It was messy. But I also forgive Angie just for her snow outfit in that yellow. I felt like she was giving Kill Bill, and so she got the pass for me. But I do feel like how things came about was for camera time. Like that's how she told them, even at that party, and they all sit down and it's awkward. And then she's like, where's John? Where's John? She's the only woman I see that cries with no tears. So bless her.
But I do think she was genuinely hurt by the actions, because I would be, if my friend for that long was going around saying crap about me, like I would be upset.
Like Meredith.
Yeah. Right. Any final words on Salt Lake City before we talk about Miami for a minute?
I'm so happy this season is over. It felt like the longest season on Bravo. That thing started in 2021, September of 2021, and it ended about 3 weeks ago. So
I think it's because it's like the good and the bad of social media, because like with social media, it's cool because you get to know stuff before it happens. You get some backseat stuff, but then it also feels like then you've been talking about that one thing forever. Because before the show even aired, we knew when the arrest happened. So we had been talking about it for months leading up to it.
Right.
And then the episode started, and then it was still...
What I realized is I'm watching Jersey right now, but I'm watching it without any social media because I'm just watching it.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Even with like Louis Crazy Ex coming on Clubhouse, those rooms, I don't even want to know that backstory. I just want to watch it. And I've been really enjoying it, but nonetheless.
The shows are definitely different if you watch them like a regular person, just watching the shows, not with like all the deep dives and the...
Right.
Even like with the Mary stuff, like...
I'm waiting to deep dive for Atlanta and Potomac, because I have spent a lot of time in series that I liked, but I didn't love. And I just want my girls. That's what I'm digging in.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Like this Marlo Candy situation, I want to know what's happening. I
don't know anything about it, but I'm ready to hear about it.
Well, with the Marlo Candy, I do know that Marlo called Candy's youngest daughter a test tube baby.
Well, we'll get to talking about that when that happens. But so with Miami, the reason why I said I wanted to transition to it about everyone talking shit is that
Dr. Nicole.
Dr. Nicole. First of all, I love Dr. Nicole.
I love Dr. Nicole.
Love Dr. Nicole.
For a premiere season to stand on your own against Alexia and Marisol.
Yes.
And
Marisol and her damn cup. And you know what's so funny though? I like Marisol. See, I have found that the seasons that I like the most are the ones where like I like all of them, or I like most of them, even though I can also call out their bullshit. So like Marisol, I do like her. Like I enjoy her. She's funny. But the way she came at Nicole at that table, she's like, let's play a game. Who do you trust the least? Girl, you know what you were doing.
Like, they were talking about it in Alexia's room earlier. Right. She was going to come with it. And she had already told Alexia what Dr. Nicole had said. And I feel like, okay, I love the entire cast. Let's be honest. I didn't even think I'd like Larsa.
I can't stand Adriana. I cannot
She's hard.
her.
She's a hard one.
Can't stand her.
But think about it. I mean, Adriana's singing that theme song for Miami. She's there. She is Real Housewives of Miami.
I know we'll never get rid of her, but like I just can't. And that is with me coming with an open mind this season. Like maybe like let me see if I can put up with her, because she rubbed me the wrong way last time, and she's still like that same no accountability, putting things on other people. Like I can't deal with her. I can't.
I felt like she was going through like a lot of changes this season. Like she's not my favorite. Like it was hard for me with her because I would be like, girl, like you're pushing it. But I do like how she ruffled feathers. But I like, okay, Martina's party, how she came in there and was changing Gertie's decor and stuff. I was like, I want to slap your hand away.
I want to slap her. Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, she is definitely one of those, like, I can't stand her, but I understand her being on the show, right? Like you kind of, you need those people because otherwise we wouldn't have those moments, but it's not enjoyable for me. It's annoying.
And I love Julia. I love her.
I love Julia.
I really enjoyed her.
Julia. She is fantastic.
I felt like they needed that.
Yeah.
I guarantee you Adriana's full-time next season.
I mean, I don't see how she was not full-time this season. She was on every episode.
Every episode, yeah.
She was there the whole reunion. She was basically full-time. I didn't even know she was not supposed to be full-time.
I want more of Kiki because she's stunning. And she gives the best looks at the tables. What things are happening.
Like that Kiki is like overly sexual and makes sexual references out of everything. That just cracks me up. Like I enjoy that. But other than that, she didn't give me a lot. I love Gertie.
She gave me a lot of looks and a lot of face.
Yeah.
This season, I felt like Lisa. I really felt for Lisa this season, and I felt like
I've always liked Lisa, and
I love her.
Like because she is one of those, like, she's so over the top, but she's unapologetic about it. Like that's my main thing. I don't know if you could sense the theme with the people I like and don't like, but like she's over the top, and she's like, yeah, it is what it is. That's who I am, and because of that, I absolutely love her.
Yeah. She is the reason that I picked her husband as my doctor. Like,
oh really?
Since season 2 Miami. So I like love Lenny. I love Lisa. I love their family.
Love that Lisa and Nicole became good friends.
Yes.
And like, and this is my thing with why I like Lisa, or why I like Nicole so much, is that Nicole doesn't try to say she doesn't say things she said. She'll own it, and then she'll be like, but then I changed my mind. Like the whole bye Jasper. Bye. Jasper disappeared, but like the whole like how she said she thought that Lisa was probably superficial because of how she came across. She's like, but then I got to know you and I changed my mind. And then with Larissa, she was like, I thought OnlyFans was this. And then I looked it up and it helped me change my mind. The thing that annoys the crap out of me is like when all these women are like, I'm so upset that you would ever think that. It's like, but we all do. Like, why are we pretending like we don't all make some level of judgment of people before we meet them?
Came out and Beyonce said on that Demon Time, I may start an OnlyFans. It was like, what is OnlyFans? Like, you have this impression, but I love that she was able to explain things. It's the doctor in her, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's break it down. And this is how I'm going to, and I just feel like she gave us a lot. She gave us her personal life. She gave us, she stood up to these girls in not a crazy way.
Yeah. She stood her ground because she didn't have any reason not to. Like, she was like, yeah, I did say that. It just bugs me when all the women are like, I'm so offended that you would ever say or think that. She didn't know you.
Larsa and Adriana said the most offensive things this entire season.
Right. And when she was like, Larsa was like, oh, well, I could have said you had a child out of wedlock. And I'm like but the point is you probably, but the thing is she probably did think that. She probably did say that. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't know her yet. And that's like, when you don't know someone, you have thoughts, especially when you're about to be cast with someone. Of course, people are going to ask your opinion and you're going to be like, well, I don't know, but we'll see, or blah, 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 blah. So like for them to try to villainize her for it. So I'm glad she didn't back down from it. I love though.
I got to grab a Kleenex, but I'm here.
Okay.
My allergies are going wild.
Mine too. Well, I've been trying to figure out if it's my allergies or if I'm sick. Like, I spent most of the day sleeping yesterday. I have like some phlegm, my throat is scratchy, it's not fun. Eyes are itchy.
Yes.
But, I was gonna say I loved her conversation with Marisol where Marisol was like, I don't care. Then she was like, I appreciated that Nicole brought it to her and was like, I'm not happy that you said this. I don't, like this. And then Marisol was like, well, honestly, at the end of the day, I don't care because I was defending my friend. And one day, if you're my friend on that level, I'll defend you too. But right now you're not. So I don't care. And this is what I did. Like, I respect that. Even if I'm Team Nicole, I respect what Marisol said because she's right.
Even when Marisol at the reunion was like, you did good, Nicole. You did good.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I'm learning. I mean, she's never done. I mean, I just can't wait for these girls to be back. I felt like the season was short.
Yeah.
I felt like I loved Gertie. I love Gertie and her husband.
Gertie.
I mean, high school sweetheart, stop it. Her events, let's say I have another wedding, I would say Gertify it. If I could afford it, Gertify it. I felt like Julia, her story, she is such a sensual woman. And I say this in a way, but like, I am not attracted to women, but I get that she could probably seduce me. She has this like Russian thing and this confidence and this flow and this like flirtation thing. She could get away with not answering a question. She knows how to flirt her way out of it. And I love that about her. And I also love her and Martina. I mean, how big of a deal? I mean, she's really on the show. First same-sex couple, and they did it right. Even though I didn't like the way that they were trying to kind of like form the Adriana and Julia story, you can see that it is a true, deep friendship. Like it's a deep
I feel like that is Adriana's fault. I feel like Adriana tried to make this like, look, we're flirty. Look, we're like, she should have let their friendship stand on the grounds of their friendship instead of trying to paint this narrative that like a straight woman and a lesbian can't be friends unless one's sitting on the other. Like that further went into why I don't like Adriana. Like she should have just let it be their friendship.
Right. And I felt like even trigger warning, when Julia was talking about the passing of her son, the murder, really.
Listen, when I found out the full details of it and about like the dad and how the dad had found the nanny for them and then what happened and then the nanny was gone, I was like, he had her son. Like more people talk about like that is shocking. Like that should have blown up the Bravo world because that whole thing is that's a Hulu documentary I wanted to see. Yeah. Like I feel so bad for her. Like accidental deaths are bad, but like
we'll never know. But then I thought, Adriana, like, do you really think Gertie is trying to make this moment about her? Like literally when Andy was like, you thought it wasn't as scary, she was like, yes, like immediately. Right. And I love that moment of her being like, I'm sorry, like I would never do that. And Julia being like, it's fine. Like, we understand each other now. But Adriana was, I don't know if she was trying to be like protective, but she didn't want the girls to be friends with Julia. She wanted to be Julia's only friend.
Yeah, and it's very obvious. I just don't like Adriana. I feel like I love everyone else on the cast so much, even when they argue and bring them back together.
Right.
So one last thing before we go, Alexis, because you can't like.
First of all,
so I've always liked Alexis for the most part, but I don't think she's a saint. I have major issues with her outing her husband after his passing. Because like he has kids, he has family, he worked his whole life to keep that private. And then she outed him after, within reason. But I didn't like that. And then I also do think she's very enabling of her eldest son. And I think that's kind of like an issue, but overall, my heart for Alexis.
One for Alexis, I hope she's in therapy because the trauma that this woman has experienced numerous times in her life is just wow, it's the rock.
Still standing.
She's really lived it. And I think her thing with Peter, she's really got to, I'm not saying like let go, but he's got to be accountable. Even this thing where she's like, the charges have been dropped and we're going to stand by that. I understand, but also I can't really talk about it. I'm rooting for my son and it's an unfortunate situation. You don't just say like, well, it could go both ways and blah, 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 blah.
Right. Like in that situation,
like Todd,
it might be hard to
so hard for them because sometimes you have to talk to a person a certain type of way for her to hear it.
Yeah.
And I felt like with her, even the stuff with Nicole, even that, it's just like, well,
that's how I am and I love myself. Okay, well, that doesn't mean that you grow.
Right.
So if your relationships with people, if it's a repetitious pattern, then it can't be everyone else. It's got to be partly you. And part of her has to own that. And part of Peter has to own that. And she has to then look at him as not her little boy, but as a man. And I know that's tough. I'm not a mom.
Right.
But he's also got to be, I mean, he kicked homeless people, for God's sakes. Like, this is a violent person.
Right. And I feel like if she would address it, and maybe she does and we don't see it, but like she needs to get him into counseling, and for him to be like, I don't want counseling. I just want to talk to my grandma. And like, listen, what happens when that person, like, I'm sure the grandma passing rocked his world, but he also needs a real therapist before that. And now he really needs a real therapist. I'm a
proponent of therapy. I recommend it for everyone. Like, literally, when they talk about, even if your siblings, no two siblings grow up in the same home. And so there are things that if your temperament, it just depends on your temperament and the things you've experienced. Peter needs to do that, because what he's not doing, like his rage or whatever.
Right.
And
he's been through a lot too, and
privileged and get away with all this stuff. It's like, how is he really going to learn?
Right. And I feel for him because he is someone who's been through a lot, but he is at this point almost 30. So like the trauma of your childhood, and we've all dealt with trauma. Like you don't get to keep using that as an excuse for your bad behavior.
That's not transformed is transmitted to other people.
And so like, I just would love to see her acknowledge this, like even like the domestic abuse. First of all, it's alleged, so we can't say for sure, but it's not the first time. And it's okay to say like he did something wrong and we're working on it, or we're trying to get him help. But to try to say that he did nothing wrong and to try to get him off on it because he's her boy and he's hurting. And again, like you, I don't have kids, so I'm sure it's different how you feel about your children. But you should still, your child, your nephew, your whoever, they still is accountability when that person hurts somebody else. And even like the conversation.
And he has a history of hurting people.
When he has a history of hurting people. And even the conversation with Todd, first of all, that conversation was great. The only thing I didn't like that Todd said was that you guys haven't been doing anything, because clearly they have been. And they've been dealing with the other son's mental stuff for a while now. So that was all out of pocket. But everything else he said in that conversation was spot on. And the fact that Alexis isn't livid that her son is doing drugs with her son who has brain damage. Like, I get, if your kids are all perfectly fine and you want to be like the cool mom, like
but
everyone does weed, I don't care, it's not a big deal. That's fine. Be that mom. But understand in this situation, you should be protecting your youngest son and not letting your oldest son do drugs with him. So when Todd says go play basketball with him, not do drugs with him, Todd is right in that situation.
He's absolutely right. Like, Frankie has a lot of hills he's got to climb, and it's
Frankie,
like,
I couldn't remember his name.
Type of relationship. Like, you just can't. So I loved Alexia, and I felt like, she did say that about Marisol.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she meant it in an ugly way, but sis, you said it. And
you said it. I like that Marisol is like, I don't care.
Right?
But the thing is, like, I feel like if you're a rational type of person, which I do think Marisol is, I feel like she can be like, in the grand scope of our friendship and in the grand scope of all the stuff you go through, it's not worth it for me to address it. It's not worth it for us to have a conversation. She probably did say it and I don't care. Because I feel like if you're really friends with someone, that friend. Like even if we like bring it full circle to the Meredith and Lisa of it all, if they've really been good friends for 10 years, Meredith has heard Lisa have a rant like that about someone else before. So you knew it was in her. You just never expected it to turn and be addressed to you. But it also means that she probably knows if Lisa really meant it or was just saying it because she was angry. Like, I feel like
Lisa meant it.
Exactly. And that's why she's like, I want nothing to do with her. So like in this situation with Marisol and Alexis, like I think Marisol is like, I know who she is, and at the end of the day, it's not worth it for me to address that, which is fine. Yeah. Well,
I think that's fair.
I'm excited. I'm almost tempted. We'll see what else comes out because I'm already like backed up on some stuff, but I'm happy they're bringing it to Bravo. I'm almost tempted to watch Miami again because it was.
I am going to watch it again. Yeah. They looked so good. Every look. Think about it.
I've been like silently like.
Pride skirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gorge.
It's just, I love Miami. Miami brought it. I'm glad they're back.
Reunion looks fire.
It was
Amazing
fabulous.
season.
Yes. And right now I'm still watching Summer House is killing it this season, which I'm enjoying the heck out of.
Right.
I heard Married with Medicine is coming back soon. Cannot wait. What housewives do we have? Oh, we're in Jersey now, right? Jersey.
What do you think of Jersey? I know we can't really get into it. I know you're going to do another one, but I just want your thoughts on Marge. I just want your thoughts on the Marge Jen situation before we go.
Oh, that's a long conversation.
Par for the course.
Let me sum it up with, I don't think that Marge should have brought it up, because that's really hurtful. But I also understand Marge being upset with Jen and all the things she has called her out on. But I don't understand how Marge thinks that was Jen being hypocritical. Jen wasn't the one that cheated. So of course Jen can't stand you as being the one that cheated. Like, of course.
Because she was cheated on.
She was cheated on. So of course she doesn't like you if you're the cheater. Like, that makes perfect sense to me. If anything, it explained it better to me why Jen was so upset.
And it didn't explain it to Marge. And it's just like, but now, honestly, after the last episode, I don't know, are you caught up?
No, I haven't watched the last one yet.
Okay. Then I'll wait. I'll
DM you. I'll DM you and we can discuss. I'll watch it after this. But thank you so much for joining me. I love having these conversations. I need to film a regular one soon. I need to pick a topic, but I'll probably tap you for that. But yes, this was
it's a new season, and it'll be like, are we having a hot girl summer or hot woman summer? Temp. It's about to change. Season change. So I can't wait. I'm wearing pastel already.
I know, you look gorgeous. Enjoy your baby shower.
Thank you.
You're beautiful. I'm gonna bum in and try to get some work done here. Enjoy the rest of my day. But thank you so much to everybody who watched. And Jasper had to bounce because he doesn't watch Miami. But thank you, Jasper, as well, for joining us. And we'll be back. Have a great day.
Baby, you just kick your feet up while I kick back. I roll one with you by my side.